$50,000.
Yeah, trustworthy.
These are people that didn't make it.
Well, we're not going to put him up against Susan Smith or even Stefan.
Who wants to be on the list?
Stefan trustworthy.
I mean, you've had Polnick as a professor.
Abel Deacon didn't make it, huh?
I think so.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
he didn't make it. He was
You can't
last.
have two. You can't have two all making two all.
Yeah.
Well, Joe tried, but we said no way.
Besides, you have to
Did we
find
say
another
no way? I
picture
don't
of
even remember
his
saying
wife.
no way.
Hey, what's that guy?
What about the guy who
Marty Seifert didn't make it, huh?
what's the Yabba Dabba Doo
It
guy?
was a tough
Oh, Ken Wager?
I submit him, or Tim submits him. I vote yes. Because he is the whole life of our I mean, he's been he's a mythic figure.
Kenny.
He's a remarkable figure.
Kenny.
He's what makes League fun, right?
Kenny boy.
Kenny,
I haven't
he's a
heard him
good
sing
guy.
that much lately, though.
He hasn't been getting a lot of strikes.
No, he doesn't. He's dying.
So it's more about.
So we
It's
should
more about
recognize
what he
it now before he dies.
It's kind of like a memorial then, right? A little bit before death.
Lifetime achievement.
I'm sure he's really going to appreciate that one. He'll be flicking through the channels at midnight. I can't sleep. Oh,
He'll be.
educated bowlers. Oh, I know
I'm dying.
these guys. Kenny is dying.
And then he gets the news that he's been rejected.
Yeah.
Yep,
I told you, Tim, he wouldn't make it.
Did he
Like
get
Dick
voted
Van
out?
Dyke.
Spicy voted him down.
No, Dick Van Dyke, he's got a
Just,
show.
I mean,
You know,
it just deepens the trend. doesn't it?
Well,
wow.
What about Gordon Boss?
It is petty. I mean, I had
Gordon
John
Boss.
Brown, which
you're ready to vote Gordon
That's
into
my
the Hall
new
of
hero.
Fame?
Gordon?
Gordon. Gordo.
Who raised him?
I did.
You just raised the.
No, I didn't. You fucking did.
I don't think we know Gordon.
I'm for Gordon.
You know Gordon, he bowled with you tonight.
Well, I know him, but I don't know him that well.
Oh, you feel like you know
I mean,
Kelly
good,
very well?
good lord, we rejected Carl Eller. We're going to put on some guy we bowled with once.
Hey, Vince
never
and I bowl with him every week.
I don't know how many times I
He's on our
said.
team on
I
Thursday.
don't know how many times I've said because of her husband.
Ben, I have a tip for you. I noticed you have
She
big buttons
criticizes
on
her.
your jacket.
Yeah.
I've been reading about Civil War reenactors and to get the
Oh,
hardcore
yeah.
guys to get real looking buttons, buttons
What's
that
that?
look like people who wore them in the Civil War, soak them in urine overnight.
Really?
Why?
It gives them a
Because
tarnished,
in the
brownish
Civil War they soaked their buttons in urine. Obviously.
What's that new HBO series? Gods and Generals? What's it called?
The movie.
It's the second one. It's the second
Really?
It's in the
Prequel.
trilogy
I watched the Cannibal Show last
to
night.
Gettysburg.
Yes. It's a movie.
Really
You watch
straight.
what?
It's only
Yeah, they had a show,
Who's
an
that
hour-long
again?
show about cannibals.
cannabis.
No, the
Said
Cannibal
Marvel
Show.
was still out there.
Yeah,
It's on HBO.
I just
Japan.
Looks good. Looks good, but I mean, it's also. I also like the idea, guys in general. Every actor, even the black actors and actresses, were going. It's so wonderful to see a true portrayal of the Civil War, where it was about brother against brother and to free the Negro. It's like, I'm going, wait a minute. That's not what the Civil War was about. The Civil War was about the North going,
I'm going home, but you really don't.
let's see, let's look at GDP.
No?
You guys have free labor. We don't have free labor. I mean, it had nothing to do with slavery in the sense of a moral issue. It was they were pissed that the South was gaining too much power. No, but I mean, this big HBO special.
So it really was the War of Northern Aggression, you're saying?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, of course it
Oh,
was.
yeah, it was. I
Are you
mean,
guys fucking kidding me?
Didn't the South attack
it
first?
wasn't about. The war was not about freeing blacks on a moral issue, slavery.
Well, they didn't free blacks.
That was
They-
one of
Right, because what happened afterwards was
Roughly as
Didn't the
bad.
South attack first, though?
no.
They didn't?
The North was aggressive.
It's great talking to you guys.
See you later.
So if you were
Tell-
Mitch.
Tell Mitch we said hi.
But you don't think the sort of moral issue is what kind of kept it going?
No,
It was a factor. It was a factor, no doubt.
it was a factor only in gaining support
But,
with
I mean,
abolitionists,
think of
but the abolitionists were very.
I mean, think of it this way, even
They were a
Ben
minority.
Joe's got a word on this.
Got a point.
You watch the Civil War, you know.
I do know a lot about the
Yeah.
Civil War.
That's what I mean.
So you think
lived
he's
right
right?
in the heart of it.
So you think he's right about
tour the
this?
battlefields and
Northern
I've toured a
Iran?
battlefield or two, but that doesn't help really. No, my point had to do with a friend of mine who had a friend who he called the factor. No, you were talking about the fact. You have to factor that in, or whatever. He said you have to factor that in. This friend of mine, he had this guy who was like a out of control kind of goofy guy who became a cocaine addict. He worked in a supermarket, and he finally got to a state where he stole all the money from the supermarket.
Marlboro Man.
And bought a bunch of cocaine. Anyway, this guy was like this ridiculous, goofy clown character, and my friend called him the Factor. And somebody asked him, "Why do you call him the Factor?" It's like, "Because you always got a factor in me." That's my whole story.
Now does that relate to the Civil War?
You said the word factor.
How many, you guys have,
Free association
Yeah,
of pictures on the
Well, I
Civil
mean, if you
War.
believe the Civil War was over ethical or moral. It wasn't. It
But that
was
was
over.
part of
It
what
was over
drove it to
economics.
it.
I mean, it was over the fact that the North was getting killed economically from the South because
You can take my wife.
the South
you
had
cannot take
slave labor and
my
the North did not, and the South was going-
Freedom!
and Lincoln was going. They wanted the southern states to pay more taxes, and they were like, "Fuck you." That's what precipitated the war.
you
It
got
wasn't.
exactly the opposite.
So
The North was
Lupe,
killing the South economically.
No.
The South wanted to maintain the old way of living, the old system, and it was changing. And that change caused great upheaval and resentment. Slavery was just part of that.
It wasn't over slavery. I mean, it wasn't.
Lupe, would you be fighting under the stars and bars if you were alive in that time, man?
No, I mean, what I would do is go back to Zinn's People's History of the U.S. and look at the
That wasn't
letters.
written at the time.
No, but he has. But his documentation for his narrative are letters from Civil War from both sides, soldiers from both sides that were basically going, "Why the fuck are we here? We're actually fighting the rich man's war." I mean, at that time. So it wasn't necessarily. I mean, in this movie, he's portraying it like the overriding issue that the reason the North attacked the South was over this God-given right to free
You know,
blacks.
that's bullshit though, because fucking Ken Burns can trot out a bunch of letters and say something about how, we as a nation will never move forward if we don't abolish this great evil, blah, blah, blah.
But
What?
Lincoln himself did not come
Probably all
out.
are.
Lincoln himself,
Huh?
abolitionists.
Probably all are.
But I mean, you have other documentation to back up Zinn, because even Lincoln's own speeches and letters and essays, it had nothing to do with necessarily the slaves. He was talking about.
Well, that's right. Nobody's arguing that.
I mean, and they weren't saying that he was a bad guy. I mean, it was the thinking of the time. He was thinking more economically.
You don't think fucking Abraham Lincoln was thinking about the immorality of slavery?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, they're saying he did now.
He came around to it, and I mean, I think he
It wasn't his overriding issue. I mean, he wasn't going, "We're going to war."
No,
Well,
that's
he
true.
gained
Couldn't be. I mean,
he
he
had
absolutely
made
made
75,000
statements like that.
troops attack.
No one.
He realized that there was no possibility for pursuing it politically for a long time, but he pushed it as fast as I think he could. He had experiences early in his life which convinced him of the. I don't think he was not a racist. I think.
No, I didn't say. I
think
don't
he was
think
a
it has to do
racist,
with
but
racism.
he was against slavery, but I think he was a
For political
racist.
reasons.
How was he a racist?
I think he believed that blacks and whites were different, essentially. Which is wrong.
The blacks were inferior?
At least different, and even that statement that they're different is There is no physiological difference.
Well, I'm just, you
But
got,
I'm saying,
Lots of people
you're
at the
putting a
time,
lot of people in
lots of
America
people
into
at
the
the time
racist
didn't
category
necessarily
there.
believe that
Sure.
they were inferior
Yeah,
people.
I believe
but they had
racism
been-
is totally, I mean,
They had been put into an inferior position by the
it's just a
society.
mistaken belief. That
But I mean,
there's
if you
some
want-
essential-
if you want to
there's
look-
cultural difference.
if you want to look
And
at
the cultural
great,
difference is based on a long time of segregation.
I mean, if you want to look at great people that were fighting for slavery, against slavery, you have to go back
John
to,
Brown,
no, you go back to England, where, who's the guy that fought
balls to the wall.
for 50 years, and since he was a young man, he was the one that got the British Empire to outlaw slavery almost 50 years before.
Winston Churchill?
No, it was
Ben
before the
Franklin,
Americans
late
did.
in his life, Ben Franklin was had this slavery crusade.
But also in Ben Franklin's essays, he said Cuba was nothing but a country of niggers. Yeah, I mean, I suppose before
Franklin
he
changed.
died.
Well, Franklin was very scientific. He was very willing to change his mind.
Churchill was another one that
They did a
quoted.
scientific experiment
Churchill
on Cubans or
No, he
something.
was willing to make observations.
But
Like,
Churchill,
they're not a nation of niggers, what?
For instance,
Science has proven it.
Stop giggling behind the camera.
Have any of you guys read
We've had enough gigglers
Abe
right there.
Lincoln's writings?
And they figured, you know, she's getting fucking old enough, or she should be getting it. That was their attitude.
I want to give a shout out to KG, who made us all proud in that horrible spectacle of the All-Star game.
Who's KG? What was the horrible spectacle about?
Kevin
It was
Garnett.
pretty good though. The fourth quarter was
Horrible
pretty good.
spectacle.
Well,
It was pretty good though.
It's a horrible spectacle.
Isn't every All-Star game a horrible spectacle?
No.
Fuck you.
Stupid asshole.
Fuck
Loser.
you. Fuck you. Oh, so you thought did you think the fucking football All-Star game was a wonderful spectacle?
You can't compare any All-Star game to the Pro Bowl. The Pro Bowl is the
Batteries
stupidest-
flashing.
Flashing?
stupidest fucking
Yeah, this
joke.
battery's too low now.
Like, fuck.
Fla-
Stupidest
Flashing?
fucking
Yeah, this
joke.
battery's too low now.
Like, fuck.
Still
Fla-
going though?
Yeah.
It'll go until it, oh, there's another battery.
Don't put Butler on
Which battery do we, whatever you call it?
That was Imelda Marcos. I had a shoe fetish at the time though, and I actually had sex with her shoes. So,
Marla Maples, which was Marla Maples.
Marla Maples, yeah, I had sex with her. I forgot
Shoes.
about
She had a lot
that.
of shoes.
Yeah,
Remember Chuck Jones, her publicist?
I didn't have sex with Chuck Jones, but I remember him.
Shoes.
Oh, really?
I thought Chuck Jones was the great cartoonist.
Yeah, we all thought that. Until we found
I
out
had sex with a cartoon.
Chuck Jones is a pederast?
Chuck Jones, Marla Maples' publicist.